Right. I'm absolutely in love with this Japanese film, Drive My Car, and in this review I'm gonna tell you why. Written and directed by Ryūsuke Hamaguchi, Drive My Car follows a man in around his 40s, 30s, 40s, who has experienced a lot of loss throughout his life, which we get to experience through this film's 40-minute prologue. And after that, we see him direct a multinational theater piece where they take to play Uncle Vanya from Chekhov and perform that. And the film takes a lot of place during this play and also in the car, where he has a lot of conversations with Batari, which is his driver, where most of the film takes place. A 40-minute prologue is definitely a long prologue. I know you're thinking about that, but Ryūsuke Hamaguchi makes it work really, really well in this film. He establishes a lot of background story in a very smooth and interesting way that you're quite captivated. Kind of works like a mystery film in a sense, that it's like you're not quite understanding these characters and you're trying to like get their point of view in a way, and they make some interesting choices. So it's the most action in the whole film happens in the first one, and the second part of the film is more a reflection upon that. And I think that is what Ryūsuke Hamaguchi really nails in this film, is like the split between these two parts. The themes that Hamaguchi explores in this film, such as love, death, isolation, life's true meaning, and how to overcome trauma, are so universal that when the film is done with such calm and precision, that you get really captivated by the entirety of it. It becomes like one long meditation on being human in a way, and letting these humans be human in a weird sense. It's also giving a lot of Wim Wenders vibes in the pacing, how it's just like strolling through their lives and you're not quite sure where they're gonna end up, but they're just going and you're kinda in love with the style and the music and how everything flows. It's just a journey, and you kinda just wanna be in the car with them and just listening to the plays and just living. It's really weird and really pretentious to talk about a film in this way, but it feels very right in many ways. There's a really interesting scene towards the middle of the film with Okada and Kafuku when they're sitting in the car driving on the way home, and they start Okada's obsession with Kafuku's wife comes to a sort of limit for Kafuku, that he just spoils one of the more vulnerable parts of their relationship, how she told stories about how she write her stories basically when they had sex and after sex. That was always when she wrote them inside her head and had her husband retell them the morning after. And it's a story that we already heard from the prologue, and Okura decides to tell it to Kafuku, and in that way he's admitting to him cheating with Kafuku's wife, but in maybe a most interesting and cinematic way you could do it. So it's in these moments I feel that Hamaguchi really does brilliant with his screenplay, and it's so interesting to watch these detailed and heavy purposed dialogue sequences where the dialogue does the work, but you're kind of not like telling it directly, but it's like going through these filters of these humans, and yeah, it becomes a play in many ways. In many ways, this film feels like a play. It's about a play, and the character in the film is kind of acting like it's a play towards each other, which makes sense since it's a movie, but it does very much to how it flows, and it works a lot in different monologues and also dialogue sequences, which explore very many themes, which is not that common in film, where it's more often than not action based, but here it's a big play hidden in a big movie in a way, which then again becomes more meditation, I would say, on the world and the world around it. Yeah. In many ways, I would argue every great screenplay needs a great ending, and I think most people would definitely agree with me there. One of the best examples that I've seen of lately is Just an Accident, which is quite a good film throughout, but without the ending it would have fallen quite flat, I would think. And Drive My Car has a great ending as well, I would say. It moves very smoothly throughout the film, and the film ends with Okada once again being an actor and trying and being vulnerable with an audience and trying life again, basically, with a fresh slate after dealing with everything that has gone through his life through this warm up to the play. And also that Watari, our second main character, who is just driving and doing normal chores and having a dog, which was hinted to in the start of the film, that she wanted a dog, you know, in a sense. And it just seems very peaceful and quiet, and how they managed to go from this very emotional and deep sequence, and how they just go on in their easygoing lives in a way, or their lives become easygoing, or is treated as easygoing, and just leaving this big emotional scene and just landing in a quiet way without trying to describe too much just hits, man. It sounds very pretentious when I say it like this, but trust me, it feels very nice. And in many ways, I think it works really well, because you just want to be in this universe with these characters. It just feels so interesting and just vibing in the car, and the jazzy score, and yeah, you just let yourself go in a way. Drive My Car is for me a 5 out of 5. It's meditative Japanese cinema at its very best, and I just love Wataru and Okada having these quiet conversations in the car, and how the film is just about them driving, and about these like small and big moments in people's lives, and how we can learn to deal with our trauma in a very sense. So it's a great film, and I hope you have seen it and watched this film through, or that you are going to check it out after watching this. So thanks for watching, and I hope I'll catch you in the next one.